There aren't that many ways to help with subtraction, but the ones that I do use are super useful. Doing subtraction in your head is problematic, as we often have to borrow. Keeping track of which numbers were borrowed from and which numbers have a 9 and which have a 10 is tough. I have two ways I do subtraction that requires borrowing in my head. I'll show you those here. First, if there isn't any borrowing, then I use the same method to subtract as I do for adding, which is to split the number and subtract the tens and then the ones. Let's look at 39 minus 17. 39 minus 10 is 29. 29 minus 7 is 22. What if we do need to borrow? For example, 35 minus 17. Then I rewrite the 17 as 20 minus 3. 35 minus 20 is 15. Plus 3 is 18. We add the 3 because we're subtracting the 17 and the 3 is negative, so the two negatives cancel out. Here's what it looks like in my head. Your turn. Pause the video and subtract these numbers in your head. "26 is 30 minus 4. 102 minus 30 is 72. 72 plus 4 is 76. 59 is 60 minus 1. 83 minus 60 is 23, and 23 plus 1 is 24. Before we go on to the other method, we have to have a way to easily subtract from numbers that have a lot of zeros. For example, what's 100,000 minus 45,798? This is like setting up dominoes. We write down every number we need to make every place a 9. The 4 needs a 5, the 5 needs a 4, the 7 needs a 2, the 9 needs a 0, and the 8 needs a 1. We then knock them over by adding 1 to that number. That causes all the 9s to go to 0 and gives us the answer. 54,202. Now it's your turn. Please pause the video and subtract 863 from 1,000. We want to make all the numbers 9, so we need a 1 for the 8, a 3 for the 6, a 6 for the 3, giving us 136. We add 1 to that for 137. 1,000 minus 863 is 137. Now let's look at that other method. This technique can be used for big numbers, but let's see how it works with some smaller numbers, like 210 minus 178. That looks ugly, and I don't want to do it, so instead I use a mental number line to subtract only easy numbers. When we subtract, we're finding the distance between the two lines. I add a third line with an easy number, like 200. I subtract 200 from 210 and get 10. Then I subtract 178 from 200 and get 22. The difference between 210 and 178 is 10 plus 22 is 32. This method works best when at least one of the numbers is close to a nice round number. This technique can be used for really big numbers, like 30,128 minus 70,998. We pick a round number, such as 30,000, and subtract the 30,128 to get 128. We then need to subtract the 17,998 from 30,000. If you have a hard time doing this, you can insert another easy number, such as 18,000. Now it's just 30 minus 18, which is 12. Add the zeros back on, and we have 12,000. Add the 128, and we have 12,128. Finally, we subtract the 17,998 from 18,000 and get 2. We add that on, and we get 12,130. The larger the number, the harder the problem. With numbers this large, you may have to write some of the intermediate numbers down. Now it's your turn. Please pause the video and subtract 18,989 from 20,120. Did you get 1,131? We subtract 20,000 from 20,120 and get 120. Then we subtract 18,989 from 20,000 to get 1,011. Adding the two, we get 1,131. You could have also used 19,000 as a second easy number and gotten 1,011 separately. Next up, multiplication. I have a lot of multiplication tricks for you.